Vinashine Namaha.
Om Achintyaya Namaha.
Om Achintyaya Namaha.
Om Aprameyaya Namaha.
Om Aprameyaya Namaha.
Om Advitiyaya Namaha.
Om Advitiyaya Namaha.
Om Aniketaya Namaha.
Om Aniketaya Namaha.
Om Anushashana Priyaya Namaha.
Om Anushashana Priyaya Namaha.
Om Antarsakshine Namaha.
Om Antarsakshine Namaha.
Antaryamine Namaha.
Om Antaryamine Namaha.
Om Anandaya Namaha.
Om Anandaya Namaha.
Om Atma Sarupaya Namaha.
Om Atma Sarupaya Namaha.
Om Manglabhasha Viduttamaya Namaha.
Om Manglabhasha Viduttamaya Namaha.
Om Ishwaraya Namaha.
Om Ishwaraya Namaha.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
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 Sharanam Mama.
Sharanam Mama.
Hari Om everybody and welcome to Hari Om Sitaram Namaskar and welcome to tonight's satsang.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Sharanam Mama. Sharanam Mama. Sharanam Mama.
So, yesterday we left the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 22. And I reached probably halfway in that verse. And I beg your pardon to continue it closer to the end of the satsang. Because verse 22 gives enough for one whole Bhagavad. Even if you speak on verse 22 of the Bhagavad Gita, and what we were singing just now, couldn't have fall into meter. It didn't flow normally like the other verses. And there's a reason for that. When it is that Vyasji himself stops and decides to change the meter, sometimes, even in Brahmachari lecture, and mostly in Brahmachari one, he will just sleep away just because he going a little worried now. So you just nod your head swan in Brahmachari, just start to sing song, clap, call it, get up. And the same thing that Ved Vyasji is doing here. Ved Vyasji has changed the meter very quickly on us. Because there's some important thing happening. Sometimes if you forget something and someone in your family driving on the road, you go out and you flag them down and you tell them wait, because you need to get a driver's license from the car. Same way here, this is where there's a stop for some reason. But here he says that just how man casts off his worn-off garments, the same way we also, at the time when we have to leave this body, we also cast off the body and we take a new one. That's the literal meaning of the verse. But a little later on we'll come back and see one or two points to be noted about that verse. But we have just chanted some of the names of Puja Gurudev. Puja Gurudev, who studied firstly under Swami Chinmaya, studied under Swami Shivananda, and then he studied under Swami Tobago Maharaj. And just like out of love, your children, you call them Chunkulungs and what other names do they have for your children? Fluffy and Sophie. What is that? And Duffy, Munna, Chunna, whatever. So say because there's love in your heart. Sometimes I see people calling their children daddy and mommy and thing. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know, because then when they grow up as well, they treat you like it's their children. But the point is here is that when you love somebody so much, you say, I love you with my whole heart and soul. You know the lines now. Let's watch the movie and think, I don't know the lines on him so much. I'll look at tell me the lines after this. Same way, there was so much love pouring out of the hearts of the devotees of Swami Chinmaya or Gurudev, that they wrote 108 names of him. And one of the names that we are seeing tonight is Ishwara. And Ishwara means he who is supreme, he who is highest. And if we look at Ishwara, meaning that Lord, who is the Lord of the entire universe, and we look at even Swami Shivananda's life, or Swami Chinmayananda's life, or like a very great Mahatma, there are certain things in common. One is that Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, was supreme in Aishwarya. He had a certain rule over you. When he was in his presence, you couldn't help but be enamored by his presence. Like how Krishna is there, and the gopis, once the gopis see Krishna, see even his shadow, they're running behind him. Just so in Mumbai, when they tell you stories of Puja Gurudev, they'll tell you how they run behind him just when they see. Because that's what happens when somebody connects with the reality in the universe. Their mere existence brings joy, it brings speech to others. So Puja Gurudev, he moved people by his mere presence. And that's even Swami Shivananda did the same. And you'll see in our mission, Swamiji also to a certain extent is expressing this quality. Young children leaving their homes every single night when there was the 100-day yajna in Siddhabad. All the chicks would have gone and stay in the night every single night. And Gurudev had to send them back to school as well. And you see this quality as well in any soul that has either realized itself or is very close to realizing itself. What happens is there's an attractiveness to the person, just like how you're attracted to God. One other thing about Puja Gurudev that's there in the Lord is something called Shakti. Shakti or power. They seem to make that which is impossible possible. It says that God, by his mere presence, we normally say by his presence you invoke him and he could do anything. Same way, we also have great faith that Puja Gurudev could have done anything that he put his mind to. And there's a reason for that as well. Puja Gurudev's sankalpa, his resolves were very pure. When he did anything, he only thought about the welfare of others. And Ishwara is the same. God doesn't want anything from you. He just wants your own evolution. There's also one other aspect of Puja Gurudev that we find when they're describing the Lord in the Ishwariya aspect is that he has Vairagya. Vairagya means you have a correct relationship with all things in you. You don't give too much importance to this and no importance to the other. And when we see his guru as well, Swami Tobago had this in our, and Swami Shivananda as well, even today the mission is there. Means that this passion. So we come and we speak, if there's one person we speak, if there's 100 we speak, as well as we are never attached to the disciple. Swami Shivananda taught Puja Gurudev and then he let him go. Swami Tobago did the same. And Puja Gurudev, whenever he taught a disciple at any one of our residential centers or centenaries for teaching this seminaries, right? For disseminating this knowledge, he just let them go. You do what you want to do. So there are so many people who have learned this. And that's also a very nice thing to take from the Lord. So imagine if I am a devotee of the Lord. I am supposed to, by my presence itself, people are supposed to want to be in my presence, Ishwara. Then I am supposed to have so much power, so much Shakti. I is God devotee. Wait, tell me. Don't tell me that now. Think. When I roar, the Lords themselves should come. They were devotees like that. When they called, God had no choice but to come. And when Puja Gurudev roared, look just now, with this mic here, I should have been able to roar. But we reached that stage. But Puja Gurudev would have been able to get up at that same point in time and tell his lecture from right where he was. Because from when you connected, today internet was down in the ashram. So I couldn't Google anything. Before my satsang to come and look a little smart now. And take a code from here. So I wasn't connected to the internet. And because I wasn't connected to the internet, I didn't have that power of access. And same way, when we are not connected to God, but these Mahatmas, they don't do anything special to be connected to God. Because their entire life itself, they are connected to God. And that's what we're supposed to be at the end of the day. Also, there's one other thing that the Lord has. The Lord has something called yashas or fame. Hanumanji also has that. Wherever you go, Hanumanji's name is well known. Also, Swami Shivananda as well. Gurudev as well. Gurudev has brought Swami Tobago's name as well to be such a famous name. In that regard, we consider him in the light of Ishwara as well. There are some other aspects that Gurudev was so supreme at. I tell you again, so much trouble, because I taken one name and you could do the whole satsang as well. Because if you look at Gurudev as a student under Swami Shivananda, when it was night time and there was no lights, Gurudev used to go and walk to the back and study and reflect on whatever was there. When he was at Tapasvi with Swami Shivananda, supreme I'm talking about. I'm not talking about any, weak, durable type of effort. He was a supreme student, he was a supreme Tapasvi, he was a supreme teacher. Anything he could have teach from, he's a supreme visionary as well. Karma Yogi, he worked for 18 hours for the day. And also he had supreme grace. Once you walked in his presence, he would have been able to give you something. Give you love, give you compassion. So in that aspect, and we also, and the reason why he's considered as Ishwara is that he identified with Ishwara. And that's important for us. I am a devotee of Ganesha, and when I have a problem, I tell Ganesha, and well, if Ganesha sort it out or help me, I do have faith in Ganesha. They didn't have this type of devotion. Shiva, with his Trishul and his he was able to destroy anything. And that's the kind of faith that they moved with. And that's how we can see the Ishwara aspect. Where we left Gita last day, we were seeing how man, be not afraid. What is that? Swami Vivekananda, when he died, according to their tradition, the day after he appeared in a dream to one of his Guru Bhais, and he says, I've kicked off the body, I've cast the body away. Think about that. How fearful we are of the unknown. Well, if you ever want to go there, you will call still be. That is tell you. Well, if you ever want to finish this session, they do a box full in the back. And this is because we haven't been cultured into being fearless. But it is not our tradition. And that's why I will do chapter 222 after. Because there's so much to say about that. We'll go to 223. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Nainam Chindanti Shashkani, Nainam Dati Pavaka. Sashtrani. One of the most powerful verses. Not like that. Because it's saying here that there is nothing in the world. This weapons cannot cut. This fire doesn't burn. Dahati pavakaha. Nechainam kledayantyapah. Water is not able to wet. No shocheti marutaha. Wind also is not able to dry. What it's talking about here is not something distant from you. It's saying in your most essential nature, your subtlest, and this is the type of knowledge that we need to give people. If you go to any university around the world, and you ask any of them how much of them are happy in that hall. Better question. Are we happy? And we would have probably lived most of our lives. And Shri Krishna is saying is that when you identify, he's telling Arjuna, he said identify the subtlest aspect of your personality. And the more you identify with something wider than yourself, the more you grow. For instance, this Divine Life Society here. Imagine if I just identify with Enterprise Divine Life Society. Then my vision will be very small. But what if I identify with Divine Life Society Trinidad? And then probably the closest, I'm not sure, the closest spirit will be the States, and identify with the Divine Life Society United States. And then I identify with Divine Life Society India. And that is not much different than what is being said here. Because it says the Atma, in your essential nature, you are all pervasive. Sarvagataha. So we are not talking about your body. We are saying that forget about your body for a little bit. Forget about your mind as well. Forget about your intellect. Think about what enlivens the body, mind, and intellect. And that essential nature could never be destroyed. And here, Shri Krishna is giving ways by which we know something may be destroyed. How much of you all here look at Gulliver Travels? Gulliver Travels, I think he went around the world in 80 days or something, right? I can't remember. There is not another time. Eh? Not Gulliver. Who went around the world? Oliver? He said. Okay. So the point is somebody went around the world. We get that clear. And he take about 80 days. Alright. So what happened is when he returns from around the world, he said, and I never left Trinidad. Or more so, I never left McBean. Where we live in the ashram, only keen around that area. Right? So I haven't seen much. And now, Gulliver, Oliver, whoever, had to come back and he need to explain to me what he has seen outside it. How am I able to understand or perceive it? He'll have to start to tell me about the cane field. And he said the ocean is probably 10 times the size of this cane field. And when he watching the dish on the side of the road, he said some of the places I would have gone would have been 100 times this, because that's what I know. So here, what Krishna is doing is Krishna is identifying things he would know to the unknown. And that's the beauty of the teacher as well. The teacher is telling from the unknown, from the known to the unknown. He says that weapons cannot cut your Atma, essential nature, because I like this listen, because you can act it out and things. You can dig out, have a shotgun here and trying to shoot the space. Imagine trying to shoot the space. And all gonna laugh at me. I could imagine a preschool child laughing at me if I tell him I shooting at the space. He asks me if I catch the space. And you can't. So even if space is an effect, there's something that causes the space to be in existence. So if it is that a shotgun cannot destroy the space, if it is that a knife cannot cut the space, then much less for the Atma, which is more subtler than the space. Something can only have an effect on the other if it's more subtle. So weapons cannot destroy the space, neither can it destroy the Atma. Fire as well. Let's take fire for instance. And fire can burn this book. But fire cannot burn its own self. Same way, fire is an effect which space came before. And before space was the Atma. So the effect cannot destroy the cause, which is the Atma. And the essence of fire only operates in a particular way it does because of the presence of the Atma as a Sakshi. And even that same presence of the Atma is also bringing the Atma one edge down, because the Atma doesn't even have any activity of being a witness. Then, water cannot wet it. Water normally is able to, or we could use tea, or you can understand tea better. Tea is able to wet a piece of bread because it has interspaces in the molecules to be able to let water to soak in. And also probably tricks. That one other go understand. See, plenty smiling faces. I know what is eat for breakfast. So what happened is water is not able to affect the Atma because there are no spaces in the Atma. There's no interspaces in the Atma as well. Or one other way that probably something could be destroyed by water is it could be drowned. So you give me a shovel and I take a donkey and a playing as a children, as a child. I count myself as 2. Right? Really language fairy. Okay, so what I try to do sometimes, if you want to frighten somebody, take them and dump them in water and tell them you go drown them and things. Although, don't do that, that is not a good thing to do, but I'm telling you what things are seen. I try to. But what it is that the Atma, which is more subtler than water, cannot be destroyed by water. So here, even dehydration is possible only when there are minute traces of water in a substance to allow dehydration to take place. And the self itself doesn't have moisture molecules in it, so you cannot have any type of dehydration as well in the self. So we go to the next verse. 24. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna. She just continues to describe the Atma. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam. Can I be called? Acheyoyam, Adhayoyam, Agrejoshosya Evacha. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Nitya Sarvakadastano Achaloyam Sanatana. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sharanam Mama, Sharanam Mama. So here there's some repetition. Acheyoyam, the same self can be cut. Same logic that was used for the Atma not being able to cut by the weapon. Adhayoyam, it cannot be burnt. Akledyoyam, it cannot be wetted. Ashocha, it cannot be dried. Because it is nitya. Nitya means that which is eternal. Sarvagataha, all pervasive. Stanur, stable. Achaloyam, it cannot move. And sanatanaha, it isn't something new. Anything that is all pervading cannot have any particular shape. So this mic stand has a shape. So because it has a shape, it has, so this mic stand has borders where it can reach only here and here. And because it has borders, it means that it's only limited to this space. So it's not all pervasive. But if you say something is all pervasive, it means it's everywhere. So there's nowhere it's not. So you're saying that the Atma is nitya in the sense that it is everywhere. It has always been everywhere. It will be everywhere, and it will change from being everywhere. And remember, when we say the Atma is that, it means you. It means you're not in the essence of your jiva-hood, or jiva Atma, which is your body, mind, intellect, sangha, or that package which carries your body, mind, intellect, your antakaranna, they call it as well, and those vasanas. That travels when you live from, when it leaves one body to another. But we're talking about that which even allows that process to take place. It's Sarvagataha. And it's also stanu. It's Adi Shankaracharya in his commentary on this verse, he said it's fixed at the base. It's very firm at its base. And then he says also it is achaloyam. Achaloyam means it's not moving from one place to another place, because it is so you can't say my Atma moved, because my Atma is here. If you say Jiva Atma moved, that's a different thing. Move from one body to another, or occupies another body. But you can't say my Atma moved. And the challenge we have in theology is that the word Atma is used in several texts to even mean body. So we need to be very mindful when we speak about things like he Atma went. Or the hurt in Atma. Because then it wouldn't be according to disastrous. We'll be going actually against disastrous. We consider killing of the cow to be a great path. But also an equal path is misinterpretation disastrous. I was talking to somebody the day before and they were saying, when it is that you believe that your words are has more weight than Krishna, then you're going against disastrous. And that doesn't allow us to evolve. It continues to say, avaktoyam achintyoyam avikaroyam uchyate tasmat evam viditvainam nanusochitum arhasi Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
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 Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. I want you to see my anger, or I want you to see my love right now. My heart is overflowing with love for you. See my love? Say Brahmachari, hated me as his fan anymore. Can you see that? And same way, he's saying avyaktoyam. That self that's within you. So same way that emotions can't be seen very easily until it's expressed. Vasanas also. Sometimes you sit down and something passes across your mind. You want to eat Thai food. But when was the last time you eat Thai food? Probably about 5 years ago. But when you eat it, I don't want to say because there's a different thing eating. And you say, wow. And it just crosses your mind and then it continues to be in your mind and then after some time it expresses itself. So say that the Atma also isn't seen for some time, becomes unmanifest, and then at some point in the future it just manifests itself. So hi Atma, how are you? The Atma isn't like that. So what it says is that the Atma doesn't ever become manifest because it can't be seen. It can't be. Where is the Atma? Yeah. Or the Atma like apple and it tasting. See this Atma tasting good. Or you can't smell the Atma. You see sometimes in meditation, you get some sweet smell. Probably somebody cooking food next door. Somebody doing puja. But it's not, what we are saying is that that's possible. But it's not the recognition of the Atma in the subtlest sense. So when we speak about the Atma in reference to Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna is saying is that that I, which is Aham, never becomes an object of your senses. It never becomes something that can be seen, heard, touched, taste, because it's the thing that enlivens that very thing. And in Kena Upanishad, there's a very nice example of Agni and Vayu. And they go, Indra and Indra, Agni, I believe it was, yeah. And what they did is they found some pillar of light. And they were trying to defeat this pillar of existence, or whatever. And they were not able to, and imagine if fire have a physical form, and he boots up and he go down, man. He said, I will burn them down. And when he reached there, he realized he burning, and nothing happening. And this is the Keno Upanishad, one of the subtlest texts of the Hindu tradition. But it's still trying to figuratively tell you that even these elements can't even reach close to touch the Atma. So fire going on here to run away, wind going on here to come back, and they come back with their head down. Come back cold. Fire come back cold. Because it can't. And they're saying that nothing can actually touch the Atma. It's also avikari. Vikar means modification. Avikar means free from any change. Change can only take place in something. So I have a hip problem. My hip hurting me right now. And what I will do is I will go to the San Fernando General Hospital and I will take a hip joint and I will put it here. And that's okay. Because I have parts. They have parts too. Like foreign use now. Everything they have parts for. So in your body you can change something because it has parts. But in the Atma there's nothing that. So one moment there's nothing in the Atma that is here, and then there's a shift in that thing in the Atma and it comes across here. Oh, I can take it out and I can carry it somewhere. Because if it's everywhere. Remember, I'm saying the fact that you are everywhere. I'm saying the fact that your most essential nature also is not the manifest. So don't focus on the manifest aspect of yourself. Focus on the unmanifest aspect of yourself. Don't identify with. Adi Shankaracharya gives a very beautiful example. He said, this Atma, I was humored when I looked at this example. He said that the Atma is not like doodh and dahi. You take some milk and you throw something in the milk. You know how it is make temporary dahi? You just throw something tonight and tomorrow you have dahi. What is lime and one or two other things and you get dahi? He said the Atma is not something you could be able to modify in any way whatsoever. He says that, for instance, this building has this section here, and there's an open section to the back, and then there's a kitchen. And because this has parts, you can easily renovate this room. You can build something inside here. But because the Atma doesn't have any parts, it cannot be, you can't change. And because there will be no change, there will not be birth, there wouldn't be growth, there wouldn't be decay, there wouldn't be maturity, there wouldn't be death of the Atma. Achinchoya. Say, Brahmacharya, I'm not understanding what you're telling me. That is okay, because here Krishna is saying you can't think about it. He says it's unthinkable. So anything that becomes an object of your thought, that is not Atma. The thought itself functions because of something. You go in your office and you find everybody working at me, the boss day, especially in Trinidad. What's it is a government office? I mean, probably 2 supervisors are working. So what I'm saying here is thoughts are living by something else. And that's the reason why the thoughts are able to function the way it is. But can the thoughts see themselves? Could one thought actually turn on the other thought and be able to take that thought apart? Can one thought be the seer? So I hear, I'm seeing, and this is the seen. The same thought becoming the seer and the seen at the same time. It's not possible. So something has to be seeing that thought. And I said thoughts are being seen by the intellect. But then what sees the intellect? Sometimes your intellect, you're thinking about something and your intellect gets stultified. Because you don't know what next, how to understand from any other view. So you're saying if whenever you think about the Atma, it has no color, it has no form, it has no shape. So if any of those things come to your mind about the Atma, it's not the Atma. So what is closest thing you can think about the Atma? Think about space. If you're doing meditation, you're thinking about your own self, you think about your own self as being all pervasive as space. Space has, and that's a very nice thing as well. In space, space accommodates everything. Sometimes we have views that are so firm. Sometimes a little stubborn as well. That we are not able. So if I tell you become like the Atma, it means you bear witness. And that even is a step down from the Atma because the Atma doesn't do anything. But if you become space-like like the Atma, not space in your brain, because there's a different thing. Because I feel sometimes we have enough space there. I was telling somebody that when I went to India, that I didn't know the difference between the word Tattva and Bodh. When my text finished, I asked my teacher, I said, so where's the meaning of Bodh? That is after 2 months of classes is been teaching me every day, and I didn't even understand what is Bodh. Want to know what is Bodh? Knowledge. Knowledge of Tattva, which is that reality. So now all I know. So if by chance I meet any Mahatma and I ask him, or if any student like me, I will tell them. So what it is that the mind also is not that sharp to perceive things in the reality itself. How can it perceive something that's beyond reality? That which is much, much more subtle. When I think about this, I think about a phrase that I have grown up hearing a lot. You make children, but you don't make the mind. It's a very practical example. Because you can never tell what's going on in their mind. Because that's a subtle thing. And as well, the subtler things in the universe are the things that you need to really sit. Our Swami Prakashanandaji, he said one of these words, you sit down and you spend a long period of time with one of these words. And then it starts to open up, like how a lotus opens up in water. And it starts to blossom in your own personality. So we are doing a race here with these words. Fat. Fast. See, like how when you go by doubles, my walk, like that. So, just so we do this. But this is not what the Upanishads are studying. These are not what the Gita is studying. That's why we have a 2-year course in the ashram. You come there, if you can, and study this thing in depth, and let it reveal itself to you. Okay, so now because he's speaking about that self which you are, from that perspective, he's saying that you are that self. Arjuna, understand yourself as that self. But if by chance you can't understand yourself as the highest self, as the most subtlest thing in the universe, which is the Atma, which has no name, no form, no place, then Adachainam Nityajatam Nityam Vamanyasematam Tatapi Tvam Mahabaho Naivam Sochitam Arhasi. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Chal Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Alright, so even if you Adachainam Nityajatam, if you believe that Atma is born, right? So this Atma we are speaking about, which is our philosophical viewpoint on Atma. Atma can never be born, Atma can never be died, there's no decay, it's all pervasive. But if by chance you don't believe in that Atma, and here postulation is happening, you don't think only scientists and Mr. Singh when in the lab and he take them journey again. Okay, well this is a hypothetical situation. And if this is the case, here Krishna is telling Arjuna, but you were Atta. No. If in case that is the case. So he just, because Arjuna had a little bit, like the fellow who can understand Tattva and Bodh, he wanted to screw a little loose. So he's telling him, come down from that level, if it makes it easier for you to understand. He says, Adachainam Nitya Jatam. He said, now this self, if you even consider this self to be born, and you consider it to die, which is, you consider, now you're taking that Atma that is at that level, and you're saying this Atma probably sometime is born and sometime is died. So even then, Tatapi Tvam Mahabaho, or one with strong arms. He says, Naivam Sochtum Arhasi. He says, then even you shouldn't weep. Why you shouldn't weep? Jatasya hidrovo mityu drurvam janmamritasya cha tasmat apariharyete natvam sochitum arhasi. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. He says, even if you believe that this Atma is born and died, then something is very interesting. Because everything that we see that dies, again will have birth. Jata Sihidro Mrityu. He says, if death is certain, which he says in the previous line, he says, Ata cha enam nitya jatam. If you think it constantly is born, then you're sure that constant death also is there for the Atma. So then if it is that you're the Atma here and you're born, and then for instance, for some period of time, then you die. Then on this side here you die. Then it's for sure that at some point in time later on, according to the laws that we see in the universe, it will one day come up again. So if you believe that you are the Atma, will fight this battle and you will die, then Om Namah Shivaya. Now that is true. But then one day after, Om Namah Shivaya and you come back again. I may not say Om Namah Shivaya, but something, and you come back again. Then you be in living again. So here he is telling him that the word being used for Arjuna here is Mahabahu. And he's saying, oh mighty Arjuna. And one thing is muscle power. And I feel like we have a lot of that as well. But what about mind power? And not just mind power in external sciences, but mind power to turn your mind and the souls up. To go into the sastras in a way that you analyze every single letter and the relationship with this word and the other word. Now sometimes how we do this, how we do this. When a child is 8, 9 years old, we go in this book and we check through every letter to make sure it's correct. Every letter to make sure it's being traced correct as well. And what we're saying is that in order to understand our relationship with that self, it's important for us to now go back and do some vichar, do some thinking. In Tattva Bodha it says, avichara krito bandaha. Because we don't think enough, we become bound. So here, what is happening is, Arjuna, even if what you see you believe, then believe the fact that you will one day be born again. You know, I could feel Krishna speaking to Arjuna here. Imagine a sumo wrestler walk out on the stage, right? I was thinking about doing the sumo wrestler thing. Sumo wrestler comes wearing cover like that, so, and he bounces. He barely bounces now, you know he barely bounces. So he come out on the stage. I will show you after. So the sumo wrestler come out, right? And you're a real strong sumo wrestler, right? And you're ready for them. You're ready to fight. And then when the fella come out now, you see the next wrestler, and he says, see me, I gone. Think, that's the same situation Arjuna in. As well, you all know Gilligan Island? The skipper and the Gilligan to something like that, right? Yeah, so I can't remember it. And the skipper was able to hold the reins of that ship in difficult times. So what is happening is that when there's a situation to be handled, Arjuna has lost his equilibrium. Imagine you are, and you want to be, when I was thinking about Gilligan and Skipper, right, today, I think about the Titanic. And when that ship was sinking, those sailors went down with that ship. Think about the summer tour that those sailors would have had, knowing that they would not have survived. And here's Arjuna, one of the greatest men of his time. I know a firefighter who mentally right now he's having some challenges in his life. And he says he goes to work and he's not able to function. How different is that from Arjuna? What's his identity? Where does he pull on his strength from? And they were saying, oh man, be strong. When it says Mahabaho, have both types of strength. Not just physical strength, but mental strength. You know, I feel somehow that people in this generation love to cry. For everything they cry. Not just when they go and look at a Indian movie and they come out and they had a whole towel and they're ringing like that. So, you know. But generally as a people we have become very weak. Because identity is not the most subtle thing in the universe. You know, if in TD, technical drawing, if you're drawing and your compass isn't centered, right? So this is a compass here. I also get real trouble in TD, to tell the truth, right? And my compass, I never get a circle or never making a angle correct, right? So I was to get help from a partner next door, right? So he was to help me center, right, in the class. But if I had to write an exam, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And most times, because our center isn't firm, we are not able to make our angles correct in life. And that's what he's telling him. Be firm in terms of who you are. He says, Natvam sochtam arhasi. Don't worry, don't complain, don't be angry. And we go around life complaining about everything. Sun shining, oh God, boy. He's not the sun, he's the father. And then rain falling, I don't know what to say. There's only rain in this place, I don't know when the sun will come. So, he says, whatever comes to you in life, accept it. And what he says about the Atma is very beautiful as well. He says, Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidayanyeva tatra ka paridevana Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama 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 Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Here he's saying as well, he's saying that if by chance you believe avyaktadini, that the self is unmanifest in the beginning, and vyakta madhyani bharata, and manifest in the middle, then, O Bharata, you should not grieve, because whatever was unmanifest in the beginning, and then manifest again in the middle, will again manifest in the end. So from all perspectives, he's trying to convince Arjuna that there is nothing to worry about. And here he uses the words paridevana, which is grief. There is no reason to paridevana. There is no reason to grieve. These things have to really become part of our culture. Where whenever you see somebody grieving, you go and you pull their face like that and tell them, be like guy smiling. Remember Gita, chapter 2, verse 24, 23, 24, remember that? Smile. How far we have fallen from the Gita ideal. And what you're frightened about, if it is that you were, and here he's talking about the most grossest perspective. Eh? He's saying that in the beginning, if you were not, then you come manifest in the middle, and then you go back again, you will come back again. What worry is there? And that's true in the micro level as well, and in the macro level as well. Whatever seemingly is not there in the universe is an unmanifest form, then it will come into manifestation for some time, and it will go out of manifestation and come back again. That's the law of the universe. So what is there to worry about? So, I promise to go back to verse number 22. I'll spend 2 minutes on that verse. Because it's probably one of the most important verses. Because I think I only have 2 minutes to spend on that verse. Tata Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani. When the body becomes worn out, he says, let's start. Vamsani Jirnani Vihaya. When clothes become worn out, I take the clothes I have, throw it out. Same way, Navani Nati Naro Parani. I throw away the old clothes and I look for new ones. And it's a very comfortable process. Tata Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani. When the body also becomes worn out, the body was given to you for a purpose as well. Anyani Samyati Navani Dehi. The embodied, the Dehi, the Atma, the Jivatma just enters a new one. Have you ever cried when you had to change your clothes? Only when you was 4 and 5 years old. Although mother tell me I was still crying when changing clothes. But the idea is here, when you change clothes, you don't cry. Same way, and that's Krishna is saying, he said when you change clothes, you don't cry. So what? Because the clothes are worn out, you need to get new clothes. So you go to the trade fair, go to the mall and you get new clothes. Same way, when it is that you need to get a new body, one is provided for you by the same 5 elements. So the body goes, this particular body, it then disintegrates itself back into the 5 senses from where they came. So what is the need to worry? When the clothes also is torn, so I went to Kurta and somebody come and they slash it here, right? And when the clothes is torn, the body isn't in any way affected. Also, when the body is cut or the body is hurt in some way, the Atma is not affected. And in the same line of thought, there were so many of our rishis, Sadashiva Brahmendra, South Indian saint, who walked into another camp and his hand was cut. And he walked away like anything. Imagine caliber. Swami Shivananda, Swami Chinmaya, when he, just before he took sannyas, he was treading the hills of the Himalayas. And he saw one Mahatma, it's a little bit graphic, it brings out the point. The Mahatma was sick, and there were worms in his feet, and the worms were eating off of his foot. And every one that fell off, he put it back on his leg and let it eat. He said that they have to do what they have to do. Buddha was protected until he was very mature, or at least a youth. Buddha came out of the kingdom. He saw death, he saw disease, he saw old age, and he saw suffering. And he said, if this is what life has to offer, then I give up everything and I go and I sit down under that Bodhi tree until I realize the self. Nachiketas. Nachiketas had the power to go and meet God himself. Hamerajh. It's because of the one, there are so many freedom fighters as well. Gandhi says, whenever a day of weakness comes in my life, I look to my mother, the Gita, and she provides a ray of hope. Here it's saying the same thing. It's interesting. The word sharid means shidaya manatvat sharidam. That disintegrates by time. That's a very nice thing to put somewhere by a mirror as well. When you complain too much about life, the body goes. You know, like when guests come home and you know you have to sleep in the hall. And it's uncomfortable, but they're telling us that go just now. So even if you have arthritis and this thing in your trouble and thing and you're not able to walk up the stairs and you say, don't worry, this body will go just now and next one will come. And what I am saying is that a culture needs to be created in this country, or as a Hindu society, for turning back our vision towards the self. Because we have idealized the body being the self. And what happens when we do that? We are more focused on comforts. We are more focused on luxuries. We are more focused on external things, and we are not focused on the internal self. We are not focused on the essential self. There's a logic in this as well. Anything that comes into existence, which is a body, will one day, so we were somewhere before we came here. Everybody come from home, and when you go back, you go home. Same way, this whatever enlivens this was here before, and it's staying right now in this physical dehi, and then after it will shall go somewhere else. Why worry? If we do not postulate that, then we will accept the fact that there was prior non-existence of the jiva. And if we accept that after it finishes here, then we will be saying that there is posterior non-existence of the jiva. When you go to a hotel, you would go and you'll unpack everything, and you'll well set it up by the all areas, the washroom areas, everything as the case may be. And then when you're ready to leave, everything that you carry with you, you'll pack back. I have been blessed to see people die. And I say blessed because I've seen the packing back up. I've seen when it is that they start to lose the injuries. They can't hear. They can't hear what they're saying. They can't see. They can't touch anything. And the eyes are open, they remain open. The mouth open, it remains open. So something packs up and leaves. And it goes like that. Simple. We become confused. Delusion. Just like original. When we believe that this person is mine. When every single body in the universe is yours. And we talk on the authority of the scripture, the Shruti, the Smriti. There's not one scripture of the Hindu that doesn't speak of this reincarnation. Study the life of Jada Bharat. The Mayan civilizations have accepted the Chinese, the Japanese. And I said yesterday, the very streets of India itself, when you walk the Banaras, Manikarnika Ghat, where you're eating a pulori, something like a pulori, Pani Puri. And when you're walking there, you see a body passes you. Ram Nam Satya Hai, Ram Nam Satya Hai. And that identity also needs to come when we pass the show of peace as well. I am also perishing in this body. So I need to look for something higher. My goal needs to be something higher. I'll close with this and we'll go directly to Arti. When it says that Shari in India, there's a very nice statement, Trinidad, they say kick the bucket. You stand up outside, something kick the bucket in, you can't kick your own bucket. No, not that. You want to kick your own bucket, who else will kick it for you? So you can imagine you standing outside and you kicking your bucket. That also could have some strength in. In Hindi they said Shari Chodya. The person stand up outside and he throw away body. And that's what you have to do as you see, language itself has such a beauty. Nobody is saying, Bade Bhagya Manusha Tena Bhava. Human body is very rare. And 8.4 million species use it as a tool for moksha. But also don't get attached to anything. Or don't get attached to the body as well. It says in chapter 15 verse 10, it says, Utramantam Sistam Vapi, Utramantam Sitam Vapi Bunja Nam Vagunangitam Vimudananu Pashyanti Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha. It says in Mumura, the foolish, they don't understand. They don't know the difference between the Atma and Atma, the body and the Jiva and the Paramatma and whatever. But we are not fools. So we know. Our Guruji says there's only two people. Wise or otherwise. So good thing means satsang. And join us tomorrow as well in Sandy Grandi at the Vishwanath Cultural Hindu Social Cultural Organization.